Good morning, dear students. This is Professor N. Sathya Krishna Sundar, guest lecturer, the PG Department of English, Cardamom Planters Associates College, Bodinayakanur. Today we are going to look History of English Literature 1, which is called the Help paper. So most important paper of English students who are studying history paper of literature. So first let me start with this session with origin of Old English. What is the Old English literature emerged from this period of time? So what was the starting time of the Old English literature? Then another thing is that Middle English. Then therefore formally called as the Chaucerian time. What are the major writers of Chaucer? Even Chaucer time is how the uh, Chaucer part divided into three parts. Yes. So here, the first body of literatures is existed even in the time of the Anglo-Saxon period. So first English literatures comes from Anglo-Saxon period, which is called 500 to 340 BC. The first was influx of three races. So after the Anglo-Saxon period started, began the time, Angels, Saxons, and Jutes into the three tribes, three phases, three races in the period in the point of time. The second was slowly coming of these tribes, so called the tribes, exactly in 597. Saint Augustine came from Rome and he converted in Judas in Kent to Christianity. So here talking about how the Augustine, the Saint Augustinians who came from Rome and he converted the Jews in Kent to the Christianity. The same time monks came from the Ireland and they set up monsters in Northumbria. So Northumbria it's one of the seven kingdoms of the Anglo-Saxon period. First one is called Old English poetry. The Anglo-Saxon emerged. After that, the social history comes out with the same persons, but the ironically said that Renaissance before the Renaissance time. What is the important works? What is the most prolific work written in English literature, which is called the first English poem, is called the Beowulf. The Beowulf, it runs over more than 3,000 lines. The poem brought into the England by angels, which is called in Angels. The poem was written about AD of 700. Actually, the Beowulf work is written by anonymously because there is no author identified the author of Beowulf. So till the date, the Beowulf is written by no one because an anonymous work. The manuscript of Beowulf, originally preserved by Sri Robert Gorton, the name Sri Robert Gorton, the manuscript of the Beowulf, originally preserved by the author called Sri Robert Gorton. Beowulf has three parts. It has a three parts. The first part of the monsters named Grendel is so devastating the Danish king Arthur's country because the Beowulf it has a three parts. The first part of monster named Grendel. Grendel it shows devastating the Danish king. The name is called Danish king's Arthur's country. Then after the songs of old English songs, then the old English love poems. What are the love poems in old English literature? So there was a love poems were expressing the pain unrequited love. Those poems are the lover's message and the wife's complaint. The two eminent poems it's called the lover's message and the wife's complaint. In the lover's message, the exiled lover sends a message to his love by means in runs covered on the wooden tablet. The poems, two poems, the lover's message and the wife's complaint. The lover's message, particularly the poem Exiled Lover, sends message to the love means of runs carved by the wooden tablet. So there were a conversation between two characters. The play itself talking about the how um, they were exchanging their words. Then wife's complaint is very sad because to the faithful, she had been banished from her husband and made it love in a cave. So another the poem is called the very saddest part of the play. Then Old English war songs. After the Old English love songs, here we are talking about Old English war songs. So the songs of war here, the Battle of Brunberg and the Battle of Malden, two war songs. The Battle of Brunberg and the Battle of Malden are two important war songs of the Old English period. The Battle of Brunberg over the Scots led by the Constantine in 1937. The Battle of Brunberg over the Scots led by the Constantine in 1937. The Battle of Malden, another war songs, unlike the Battle of Bournemouth, describe the national defeat. So these are the characters. So these are the war songs, Old English war songs. So now, Old English prose, another important slides we are looking out right now. Old English prose. There are three major prose writers, or King Alfred Wolstein. The person's called King Alfred Wolstein. King Alfred, living between 1849 to 1901, is regarded as father of English prose. I think of Francis Bacon also father of English prose or non-fiction. So here, I'm not sure whether it's a father of English prose as King Alfred, but father of English prose is also called as Francis Bacon. Yes, hope you know the name, the Francis Bacon, Renaissance writer. Such a Bacon essays. Have you familiar with the word Bacon essays on advancement of learning? These are the very famous works written by Bacon. So King Alfred, considered as the father of English prose. Alfred was churchman. He became about ensign in 105. His most important works is grammar. So Alfred is another important eminent person's writer, but his important work is called the grammar. Woolston is a fairy prose writer of the period. Woolston is a fairy prose writer. He was Archbishop of York. He was Archbishop. His sermon of the wolf is writing attack on the Danes who were persecuting the English at the time. Yes, in his time there was Archbishop. There was wolves snatching attack on the Danes who were persecuting the English at this time. Now, what significance of Old English language? Because Old English had four main dialects. So ironically said, Old English at the time there were four dialects. Dialects or Northumbrian, Mercian, Kentish, West Saxon. So let me repeat now. Repeat right now. Northumbrian, Mercian, Kentish, West Saxon. After the Old English time, all the four Anglo-Saxon divided the three or four pieces. When we are moving to Middle English literature, the Middle English literature was used from 110 to 1050. It's called Middle English literature, Middle English time. So it is called Anglo-Norman period, not Anglo-Saxon. Anglo-Saxon is Old English. Anglo-Norman is Middle English time. So this period is divided into three parts. The parts are called three parts are being called pre-Chaucerian, Chaucerian, and post-Chaucerian. The age of Chaucer. So pre-Chaucerian, Chaucerian, post-Chaucerian, all among the one called the age of Chaucer in between 1300 to 1400. The period 1350 and 1550 usually labeled as the age of Chaucer. So the year 1315 to 1550. So the year in it's called labeled as the age of Chaucer time. So in the Chaucer time, there were great kings. They were ruling in the country, the England. Great kings. The kings are Edward the Third. Edward the Third. He was the first king during the Chaucer's time, 1327 to 1377. Then the Richard the Second, 1377 to 1399. Then Henry the Fourth, 1399 to 1413. The Henry the Fourth. Then Henry Henry the Seventh, 1385 to 1509. Henry the Seventh. Then Henry the Eighth, the king of Henry the Eighth, who was also in the part of the ruling country of Chaucer time, 1509 to 1547. Then Edward the Fifth. Edward the Fifth is called 1553 to 1574. I think there's a misplaced the year, 1553 to 1574. Then unmarried, our lost kings called the lady, the Mary, 1553 to 1558. So these are the king rulers during the Chaucer's time. So here, Chaucer's first period. So the Chaucer period has divided three period. So first period is called the French literature because Chaucer had eminent writing of English, Italian, French. So first period is considered as French literature. Noticeable in the first period, Chaucer began his poetic career by translating some of the famous French works of the time because Chaucer able to write in French, but he first period of time he was to be used to translate his work English to French. Chaucer's first time, the Romance of the Rose, the translation from the Romance of Rose, a French poem by two French poets, Galliman de Loris and Jean de Meung. So two French poets, they were calling as Guillaume de Loris and Jean de Meung. The best poem of the French period, exactly in saying Book of Duchess. The Book of Duchess, the poem, it's a type of the poem is called the form of an allegory. The best poem of the Chaucer written in French period, the poem is called Book of Duchess. Then Chaucer's second period is considered as Italian literature. First period called is French literature. The second period is called Italian literature. He delivered the story of his Troilus and Cressida from the Boccaccio's to Filistratro. Troilus and Cressida, famous work by Chaucer, from Boccaccio's to Filistratro. The Legend of Good Woman, another important seminal work written by Chaucer. The Legend of Good Woman is a slight piece. This poem is the first attempt in English to use the heroic couplet. See, the heroic couplet is the form of the writing styles by Chaucer. The Chaucer, the first using the heroic couplet styles on his written called The Legend of Good Woman. The poem is first attempt in English to use the heroic couplet. Then the House of the Fame, another important the poem collections, is called orthosyllabic couplets. Then finally it's called Chaucer's third period. This period is called English period, contains in masterpiece the contemporary tales. So after the French literature, the first period, Italian literature of second period, now Chaucer's third period, which is called English period. In this period of time, he has written the Contemporary Tales, one of the major epic style of writing by Chaucer's, the Contemporary Tales. I'm sure that you have might know the poems, might even the poem about the Canterbury Tiles. The group of pilgrims are assembled as Tabadian in the southward. They were called to the Tabadian in. One characters used to tell two stories. The returning characters, another person two stories. Chaucer, one of the characters. So total 29 pilgrims. They were gone to. They were planning to go Tabadian in. They are assembled going to Sherin to murder St. Thomas Becket in Canterbury. Then Chaucer got the idea of stringing together stories told by different people from Boccaccio's Decameron. Chaucer got this idea. How Chaucer got this idea written on Canterbury Tiles? It's the Boccaccio's Decameron. Then Chaucer widely considered as father of English poetry. Chaucer is the first character of English literature considered father of English poetry. So now, in the throughout the presentations, we are looking out. Where we were talking about Old English time, then Middle English time, then first Chaucer's time. What does the Chaucer's divided three first period and second period in third period. So, Geoffrey Chaucer, widely considered as father of English poetry. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, dear students. Thank you. Have a good day.